Coming your way on Philadelphia Eagles now, with the NFL trade deadline approaching at the midway portion of the season. Earlier in the week, we took a look at some players that the Eagles could trade for in order to upgrade this roster at some key spots. On today's show, going to take a glance at some players the Eagles can trade who are already on this roster. First, though, a reminder, going to be doing a watch party for this game on Sunday, Lincoln Financial Field, Doug Peterson's return. We go live starting at 12:45 p.m. Eastern. 15 minutes prior to kickoff for a 15-minute post-game show. We'll be live during the game, live play-by-play, audience interaction, and some really fun Super Chat games that we have cooked up for you. So make sure you subscribe and join us post-game show as well. We're doing it all. Tell your friends, tell your family that we're doing it like nobody else is doing it here on YouTube when it comes down to Philadelphia Eagles coverage. So with that, let's dive into our Eagles trade candidates. Now, this isn't going to be popular among a lot of people, but we have to mention Gardner Minshew, because outside of Andre Dillard, who's hurt right now, and that's why he's not on this list, Gardner Minshew is arguably one of the bigger trade assets on this Eagles roster. Why is that? Has a ton of value as a really good backup or a solid spot starter. Why I would think about trading Minshew Mania, who has some of the best hair and the best mustache game in the league. You get really good value back on an expiring contract. You have to imagine that Gardner Minshew is going to look for a better opportunity elsewhere. And if that's the case, you get value back for a guy who you think is going to leave. Why I wouldn't make this acquisition, and let me say on record, I wouldn't trade Gardner Minshew if Jalen Hurts ends up getting hurt. Let's cross our fingers, hope that doesn't happen. You're going to be screwed, because then who would be the backup? Ian Book? No thanks. Why Gardner Minshew also has value. He's been proven for a really long time to be a very successful quarterback in this league when he doesn't have to start for more than several games. A game or two here and there, you put together a really good game plan for him, and Gardner Minshew can sling it. He can ball out and take some shots and chances downfield. Last year in 4 games played, a couple of spot starts there when Hurts went down with that ankle injury, 68% completion percentage, 439 yards, big win on the road in the Meadowlands, 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. And really my take here and why I wouldn't trade Gardner Minshew, you think about the history of this Eagles organization going back to the turn of the century, right? 2000. They have always valued quality backup quarterbacks. They've always paid backup quarterbacks more than other teams out there. Nick Foles was making like $9 million a couple of years ago after Carson Wentz got hurt. And Minshew is one of the best in the NFL, and I'm a fan of having depth and having an insurance policy just in case something goes wrong with Jalen Hurts. Next up on the show, more trade candidates. First, though, I took a look at the analytics, and I saw that people here on Eagles Now are tuned in not just from every pocket of America, all across the globe. So right now, shout out your city. Let us know where you're watching from. We'll show you some love down below in the comments section. And as you're scrolling down there, another reminder to please subscribe to the channel. The goal is to get to 50,000 subs by the end of the season. We're on a good pace now, but we have to pick it up just a little bit. And this is why you should subscribe. We're hitting you with daily Philadelphia Eagles coverage. All of our content, 100% free. News, rumors, breaking news, analysis, interactive and informative content, and we're about to get to 33,000 subs. So hit that red sub button right now to join the Eagles family here at Chat Sports. Next Eagles trade candidate, Milton Williams, who I think actually has a lot of potential as an interior defensive lineman in this league. That's why the Eagles drafted him in the 2021 third round out of Louisiana Tech. And the idea of trading him away is that you already have really good depth at that defensive tackle spot. Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Jordan Davis, all played really well, by the way, against the Washington Commanders. And a team in need of a defensive tackle, if somebody were to get hurt, could send maybe a mid-round pick back to the Eagles for Milton Williams. Yes, you spent a third on him, but if you get a middle round pick and some value there, that's not a bad acquisition for Philadelphia. Really what it comes down to, though, is the Eagles' plans for a franchise icon and one of the best defensive players that's ever donned the midnight green. Of course, we're talking about Fletcher Cox here, flexing on him as always. Really good game for him against Washington, his former quarterback in Carson Wentz, I should say. He's set to be a free agent in 2023. And the Eagles have thought about trading him the last couple of years. It's good that they held on to him because it looks as though he's rejuvenated, trying to get another deal. He said that he wants to continue playing in Philadelphia, but is he going to be too expensive for the Eagles to bring him back? He's one of those guys who you want to see be a lifelong Eagle, like Brandon Graham. Big decisions coming up for both of those franchise icons for this team over the last about decade or so. It's crazy how long they've been playing for the Birds, but what's the price tag going to be? If you plan on bringing Fletcher Cox back, you can trade away a player like Milton Williams. If you think you're going to move on from Fletcher Cox, then you probably don't deal away Milt. What do you think the Eagles should do with number 91? First of all, you want to show him some love in the comment section? Type his jersey number, 91. This guy, one of the best defensive linemen in the history of this franchise, alongside some really good defensive linemen that we've seen play for Philadelphia. E for extend, W for walk. Let me know right now in the comments section. Also, let me pose you this question. Do you want a free Philadelphia Eagles jersey? That's right, a free Philadelphia Eagles jersey. We can get you hooked up. All you got to do, sign up with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Follow these steps here in order to get that free jersey, so listen closely. Head to chatsports.com/EaglesBet. Enter the promo code EAGLES125. Sign up and deposit $100 or more. With that, you get $125 in free money back. Easy math, $225 to game with. Make your first bet and then email us, jersey@chatsports.com, letting us know that you followed all of those steps. Now, all of these jerseys are coming to you from Fanatics. Us, but they come from Fanatics. And we have a couple of current players that we can send you. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Jason Kelsey, Devontae Smith, the classic midnight green, or those really fresh and underrated white unis, jersey@chatsports.com. Email us, letting us know that you followed all those steps, and we'll get you hooked up with a free Eagles jersey. A lot of people have hit me up saying, Chase, you didn't respond to me. I sent you an email an hour ago. We're going to get back to everybody. We want to allow those emails to come in so that we can get back to everybody in bulk. We want to allow you to be rocking that midnight green. All right, more Eagles trade candidates to get to. Let's pivot now to the backfield in Trey Sermon. Hasn't played at all for the Eagles ever since they snatched him up from the 49ers, and there's a big reason for that. They haven't needed him. And while I thought at the time that Trey Sermon could bring a little value to this Eagles running back room because they don't have a lot of physical backs, they haven't needed Trey Sermon on the field because their current backs on this roster have played really, really well behind the best offensive line in the league. Miles Sanders, 45 carries, 222 yards, average yards per carry just shy of 5. I think he's been really underrated up to this point. Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott have both gotten 10 carries apiece, and that yards per carry is about the same for both of those players. But look, when these guys are humming, when they're playing well, when they're picking up first downs and they can all really contribute, catching balls out of the backfield, and for Gainwell and Boston Scott, some special teams ability if you need to put them back there. By the way, Nick Sirianni using Devontae Smith as a punt returner last week was awesome. Then you don't need a guy like Trey Sermon. But if another team needs a running back, you're not losing anything by bringing in Trey Sermon for nothing and then maybe getting some value back for him. Philadelphia, want to hear from you once more in the comment section. Do you want to see more of Trey Sermon? I want to see more of Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis. That's been an issue for this football team. Trey Sermon, though, I'm kind of good. P for play, B for bench. Once more, chime in and sound off. Join the conversation in the comments section. You can also interact with me both on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. I'm a kid who grew up rooting on this team. Grew up in Westchester, went to Temple. A lot of you know that. A lot of you don't know that. So I'm really passionate about this channel and this football team. You want to interact with me. You want to talk life. You want to talk Birds. You want to talk Philly sports. You want to talk NFL, college football, NBA. I cover it all here at Chat Sports. Make sure you hit me up at Chase_Senior and give me a follow. Last Eagles trade candidate that we want to hit on real quick is Kayvon Wallace. So the youngster out of Clemson, I was high on him as more of a special teams player and potential backup safety in the NFL coming out of Clemson. But look, let's be real here. He flat out got beat out by Marcus Epps, who I think has been a very big, pleasant surprise up to this point for the Birds. And you can look at the Pro Football Focus numbers and make a great deal about how they're somewhat low. League average for every position is at 70. So Marcus Epps is below 70 in a couple of categories. But you know what? All of these numbers here actually better than a guy like Jesse Bates, who's in the final year of his contract with Cincinnati, who we've talked about as a trade target, but is also on the franchise tag making a lot of money, and Marcus Epps is barely making anything. I think he's shown some really good instincts on coming up to the line of scrimmage to make tackles there. He's never scared to really bring physicality to his tackling form, and he's actually been pretty good on the back end as well. Coverage grade of 63.1, so he has made Kayvon Wallace expendable to a certain degree. If you made it this far on the show, first of all, greatly appreciate it. No matter where you are, how you're watching, greatly appreciate all of your support of Philadelphia Eagles Now. But if you made it this far and you're subbed, if you're not subbed, hit that sub button. Real one, roll call. Type real one in the comments section because we appreciate you, fam.